Hi there. I've decided to build a computer, and as a part of that process, I figured I'd like to document it this time, just so that I can have a better memory of the experience, because I really enjoy doing this sort of thing. And so I wanted to go through a list of parts that I'm using, and I figured I'd list the parts and do an unboxing for each one of these things, just in case there's somebody out there trying to find some kind of unboxing or informational video about any of these different components. I'd have that available to you. So if you're here, just know that more of these videos are coming for each one of my parts. I'm going to unbox each one of them and kind of go over what I have. And to begin with, over here, sort of on the left, I chose the Vega 56 GPU from AMD, and this one is manufactured by ASRock, or ASRock, however you want to say it. It's a pretty good graphics card from what I've seen on the internet. I like this one mostly because it looks a lot like the reference card. It just has a slightly different decal on the fan, which you'll see later on. And I also just wanted to make an actual AMD build. I didn't want to go NVIDIA for the GPU, and this one's pretty good. It's about equivalent, from what I've seen, to a 1070 Ti, and so it's going to perform on that level, though it will probably be more power hungry. These Vega cards tend to take a lot more wattage to run and function well. In front of the graphics card there, you'll see the RAM that I chose right there. It is Corsair Vengeance, and it's going to be running at, hopefully, at 3200 megahertz. I got two sticks of 16 gigabytes. I wanted to do 32 gigabytes. I like to have lots of RAM. And some of you might be interested to see if this particular RAM is going to work on a Ryzen system, because technically speaking, it is optimized for Intel, but it's kind of hard to find a 216 gigabyte kit. So, for Ryzen. So I wanted to make sure, I wanted to see if this is going to work. So hopefully it works, and I'll probably document just the process I've gone through to get it to work. I've only found one instance online of somebody using this RAM in a similar build that I'm putting together, and they got it to work just fine. I just have to make sure that I put the RAM in the right slots, and hopefully I'll be able to select some settings in the BIOS of the motherboard that I've selected to get it to run properly. So that'll be a little bit of an experiment. As far as the power supply goes, I chose this one. I wanted to have an 80 plus gold power supply that was fully modular, that was at least 550 watts. This was the best deal that I could find at the time of putting this build together. It's a Cooler Master, 750 watt MWE gold, and I'm hoping it works really well. It should, but I got it for a pretty good deal. Like I said, I think I got it for under 80 bucks, which is not bad for a fully modular 80 plus gold 750 watt power supply. So I'm thinking it's going to go pretty well. As far as my data goes, I chose this NVMe card to go onto the motherboard. I just wanted to go with an M.2 drive. I've never done it before, so this is going to be my boot drive. I wanted to have plenty of space on that so that I don't ever run a risk of overfilling it with essential programs, which can cause it to slow down. If you put too much data on a SSD, it can cause it to slow down. So I didn't want to ever even come close to that threshold, and this should be pretty good. I don't imagine that I'll ever have more than 300 gigabytes of data on this drive, so that's my plan for that component. And it's the XPG solid state drive made by Adata, and so I'll have the actual product key in the description below. You'll be able to see specifically what it is and where I got it. And then for the CPU. I chose a first generation Ryzen 7. I did not get the 1700X. This is just the 1700. I wanted this one particularly because it came with its own CPU cooler. I didn't want to have to pay extra for that, and I plan on probably upgrading in the future, and so this will be a good starting point. I wanted to get an 8-core 16-thread processor, and this was on sale. I got a really good deal on it, and like I said, it came with it comes with the Wraith Spire, the RGB version of the Wraith Spire, so I thought it was a pretty excellent option. But I probably won't keep it forever. I'll probably move on to something more powerful, especially since second gen Ryzen's just about to come out, and those things look pretty exciting. And that brings me to the motherboard that I selected. I went with the ASRock Taichi. It has really great reviews online, and I like that it's gonna be, you know, the same manufacturer as my GPU. And it's probably going to be pretty good for upwards compatibility. It's Wi-Fi, so I just appreciate the fact that I'm not probably going to have to get a Wi-Fi card to put into this motherboard, so it's just going to do it on its own. It is not the Taichi Ultimate, so it's not the most expensive, best ASRock or ASRock motherboard you can get, but it's pretty darn close, and I think it's going to serve my purposes pretty well. It's probably even a little bit of overkill. So I wanted to spend a good amount of money on the motherboard. I think I spent under $200 for this, something like 180 something bucks at the time of this video. And I think it's gonna do a pretty good job. And as I said, I saw online where a guy used this RAM here with this motherboard successfully. And it's one of the only bits of information that I could even find on this RAM being used with Ryzen. So I was kind of glad that it was even with this motherboard. It's a pretty popular motherboard, so it didn't surprise me too much. But like I said, should work. I'm hoping it's going to work just fine, and I'm excited to try to get that to work well. As for the enclosure goes, I chose the NZXT H500i. A lot of people are familiar with this case. A lot of people go for the H500. I went with the H500i because it has more RGB options. I'm not planning on going too crazy with the RGB, but I want some lighting inside of the enclosure. And if you want some lighting, this comes with some lighting, and it's only a little bit more expensive than the non-I version. So I just went for it. And I didn't get the white version, even though that's kind of what it shows on the box. I went with this case because I think it's going to look well with my GPU, and you know, it's going to be an overall sort of red and black build. So yeah, that is just the basic overview of what I am doing. Hopefully you guys get some information from the videos that are coming up that'll be useful to you if you ever actually watch this. I don't know that anybody will ever watch these videos. Like I said, this is more for me, just to document this experience so I can look back on it and kind of re-enjoy the building of this PC. So thanks for watching if you did watch, and let me know if you have any thoughts. I'm not going to disable the comments. Just please be nice. This is not the kind of thing I normally do. I'm not really a YouTuber person, so I don't have a lot of experience with this sort of thing. But it's just a convenient way to document this. So thank you. Bye.